Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about grid styles in Figma. Unlike text styles and color styles, grid styles are more unique to Figma than what we would see in InDesign with parent pages, and more powerful, I would argue. Okay, so we have text styles, color styles. Great. So in this video, let's make some grids. So to do that, we start with a frame. I'm going to make this frame 1920, 1080, HD frame for this one. And so over here we have a layout grid, and we're going to make a new style. So how this works is we can stack grids, which are these grid patterns here. So I can go over here and edit this if I want. I can change the color. We can also add, get rid of that. We can also add columns. And we can start from the left and have a count. We can start from the right or center, but most of the time I end up using stretch. This is our count. We can also have margin. So let's do some. And then we have the gutter, which is the space between the columns. The super cool thing about Figma is we can stack these up. So this is something you can't really do in any other software I've seen. So you can grab this and we can say, okay, these are our rows. And our rows perhaps we'll start from the top. This can be our baseline grid. So we can say every 20 pixels, there's a new interval, and then there's a gap of 20. I'm sorry, the offset is the top. We're going to start at the top of the page, and every 20 units, there's going to be a new row. The count, we can add a number, but what is much more useful is this auto, which will automatically fill the frame. And perhaps we'll make this a little subtler. And we can just keep adding complexity to this. So we could have another set of rows within our baseline. We'll set this back to auto. And this one, we will start from the top. And we could say every 5 units, there's a block. It'll start 2 units down on the page and have a gutter of 20. So we can start to create, so we have our baseline and we can start to create vertical intervals within here. I love this about Figma. Love, love, love. It's the best. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we've made our layout grid, but we can store it as a style. So to do that, I'm going to go over here and add a style. And we'll call this grid. And this we'll call this base grid. Okay. Now, just like we have styles, we can create other artboards and reuse our grid. So I can just go over here and apply it. And it adapts to the aspect ratio and width of our frames, which is really cool. And as it is a style, we can go and edit it over here. And let's say we're gonna turn off the baseline for a second. And it updates across everything you've applied it to, which is really great. The other thing to know about grids is they work with anchors. So if we remember from our first, let's just grab some type here. And if I put this in the page, we can see that there's these anchor lines coming up, but they'll relate to the grid interval as well. So for example, if I have this on, a quarter of the page, and we go to our anchors, it has changed since I recorded that video. Here they're in this little constraints over here. I can make these a little bigger. What this means now is as I adjust the column, the text is going to be anchored to that cell position. And I can also have it constrained from both axes. And so what this will do is this will change the size of the text box based on those cells in the grid, which is really great. And I did that by saying left and right. So that is grid styles in Figma.